For too long, the only thing that I was confident about was that I would never be able to be confident being myself. Gosh, wouldn't it just be nice if we could stop feeling perpetually less than? Confident in who we are, rooted in ourselves and unfettered by the words, norms, and expectations of others. Well, in short, it is possible, and it takes an incredible amount of work. So let's dive deep in this topic together and break down what it means to be confident, what's stopping you from feeling, thinking, and acting from a place of confidence, and what we can do to become a more confident presence in our lives. Hello, listeners. How's it going? I'm Kira Wackett, your host of the Untethering Shame podcast, an active participant in this collaborative journey to shame resilience. Today, I want to talk about confidence, what it is, why we struggle to cultivate it, and how we can reframe our relationship with it. Now, I have been on a quest for confidence for over 20 years and feel like I'm just starting to figure out the steps to actually feeling it versus pretending I do to get through a moment or some sort of pain point in time. Now, does anyone remember that Demi Lovato song, Confident, which is absolutely crazy to think is almost 10 years old? One of my favorite lines was, I used to hold my freak back. Now I'm letting go and make my own choice. Bitch, I run this show. Now, those words resonate with me deeply, even more so as I age. I used to dream of being unapologetically myself, celebrated for who I am, while living in a reality where I had to hide, pretend, and perform. I feared that if people truly knew me, they'd reject me. Now, this fear stemmed from feeling different as a child, often being disliked or avoided by others. My mind internalized this, convincing me that to fit in and be liked, I needed to master the art of blending in. So I started to play the role. But over time, I realized that living like this was isolating, destructive, and ultimately hopeless. And it wasn't my only option. The idea of being my true self and still being loved was appealing, yet incredibly hard to believe. I mean, is it possible? And if so, could I, this person who I've told myself for years isn't capable of pretty much anything, could I do that? Now, in her song, Demi repeatedly sings, "What's wrong with being confident?" She asks it rhetorically and defiantly, but the question of why confidence feels wrong really sticks with me. Building confidence isn't the hardest part. Feeling safe, deserving, and entitled to it is what's truly difficult. So let's start by first defining what confidence actually is. Now, I see confidence as the ability to live authentically, embracing your true self and letting it shine in everything you do. It's about redefining success based on your core values rather than social pressures and ideals. Now, unfortunately, many of us measure success through external validation. Likes on Instagram, event attendance, or metrics showing how we compare to others. It's everywhere. It's even a question asked on speaker proposals. Number of social media followers was literally a question on a proposal I just filled out. Now, it's not just that. It's email followers. How much influence have you had? And I seriously think it's important that we talk about the reinforcement of external validation that those questions ask. What difference does it make if there are 700 or 700,000 followers on my page? Does that mean that what I say is any more or less valid? Look, Donald Trump has 87.4 million X followers at the time that I'm recording this, and I know for damn sure that I have way better things to say than he does, even if only 5 people ever listen to this episode. Now, in reality, I wish I could say that those questions don't get to me. And I'm not perfect. I get in my head about it just the same as you do. Maybe I'm not as good of a speaker because I only have X number of performances or X number of followers or X number of times that someone has reached out or consult or whatever it might be. And here's the difficult reality. Gaining more followers will actually make me feel better because my brain is wired for that reaction. Our brains see likes, comments, and follows and release chemicals that make us feel excited. And that excitement, while big, while real, is also really short-lived. See, in reality, I'm never more confident in myself or in the work I'm doing than when I allow myself to tune out the noise and focus on what drives me and fills my cup. The most confident version of me is the one who trusts in what I know and who I am rather than worries about what I should say or what others will think of me. Because ultimately, I can't control that. I know I'm really good at what I do. And if I don't share that part of myself with people, then others won't get the help they deserve, and I'll feel unfulfilled and burnt out. By sharing myself, I'll definitely flail, fail, miss the mark, everything in between. And I will be able to show up for the people I am right for and stand true in my knowledge, influence, and power. Instead of seeking external validation, can we instead turn inward and define success based on our own strengths, values, and ideals? This allows us to align with our core selves, embrace confidence, and bring our authentic selves to life every day. So now let's talk about what's getting in the way of you doing that. Well, in short, it's shame, negative self-talk, negative core beliefs about the world and our place in it. See, from the first time we're born, the odds are forever not in our favor when it comes to confidence, self-esteem, or self-love. Standards imposed on us about beauty, performance, life status, and goals, and all of the supposed tos and shoulds that are placed on us can lead us to root rot before we even begin to grow into ourselves. It can make the possibility seem hopeless. And for many of us, we fall into what you've all heard me refer to as the predictable shittiness cycle. Wearing a mask, chasing the day when we'll feel like we've made it, never to realize that we're simply running in circles, chasing arbitrary elements of perfection in a world full of ever-changing ideals and a no-win game. It's kind of like Vegas, where the house always wins. And if you play the game of pretending and performing to fit in, you're simply going to lose, no matter how it feels in the short term. So a lot of you are thinking, gosh, how do you know? See, when my confidence wavers, I tend to dwell on negative thoughts, worrying about how others perceive me and interpreting every situation through a lens of feeling less than, at fault, or unworthy. This anxiety drowns out my voice, preventing me from sharing my true self for fear of judgment and rejection. Now, the hardest part of overcoming this is the fear that being my authentic self might exclude me from the groups, teams, or organizations I want to belong to. This fear is rooted in shame, which thrives on our need for connection and makes us doubt our belonging when we deviate from social norms, real or imagined. The challenge lies in trusting that by being your authentic self, you'll still find meaningful connections. Now, I know it's a difficult journey, and it is one worth pursuing, because this potential fake version of ourselves and the idea that we are connected but longing is going to continue to lead us to that root rot. Okay, so let's talk then about why we need to cultivate confidence to get ourselves to that place. Now, we often live under the influence of confirmation bias, shaping our actions based on preconceived beliefs. For instance, if we believe we'll never get into medical school or secure a promotion, we're going to act in ways that reinforce those assumptions. When we're confident, we feel capable of overcoming obstacles and view success as inevitable rather than improbable. We're willing to take risks and we're driven to pursue our goals. However, when confidence wanes or is shaken by external factors, we retreat and hide behind barriers that seem to protect us from threats, failure, and rejection. Now, the root of this issue lies in how we perceive success. Society ties success to outward appearance, job titles, busy schedules, suggesting we can't be successful unless others validate it. This notion influences our perceptions of fear and failure, linking them to others' opinions and judgments. Now, the problem isn't that confidence is tied to success, but that we don't believe we deserve to feel confident unless others validate it. Claiming confidence without external support is often dismissed, but the solution lies in internalizing confidence as an individual experience. We should shift our perspective from, can I be confident, to, I have the right to be confident in who I am. Okay, we're here, you've got the buy-in, you understand why it's necessary, and now you're going, cool, but where do I go from here? So first up, you need to identify your core values. Assess what drives and motivates you at your core, and compare your values with your current path and make sure they align. Now, I'll put a link in the show notes to a values worksheet that I have. If it's not the right fit for you, you can always Google and find other values exploration exercises as well. The second step is to accept that pleasing everyone is impossible. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay. Instead of trying to please everyone, focus on what makes you happy and honor your own values and needs. Third, know that you're enough. Society often equates worth with busyness, but you're inherently valuable regardless of your accomplishments and how fast and what pace you move at. You don't need external validation to be worthy. 4, celebrate more than accomplishments. Celebrate people for who they are, not just their achievements. Understand that being enough doesn't mean being the best. And 5, stop saying fine. Please, I beg you, fine is not a mask that we need to wear anymore. Fine prevents deeper connections and perpetuates the idea that we need to appear perfect or have no needs. Instead, be honest about how you're really feeling on good days, bad days, and every day in between. Look, cultivating confidence is a continuous process. Confidence fluctuates, and that's normal. By focusing on your values and being open about your challenges, you can avoid being overwhelmed by shame and instead embrace self-compassion. Over time, this is going to help you find clarity and direction in your life. So as we wrap for the day, I want you to pick one of these points to carry with you. Either a question, a reflection, a goal, or next step. I'd love to hear from you about everything and anything that came up, so be sure to drop anything down in the comments, send me a voice memo, or shoot me an email. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. I truly appreciate you taking the time to listen and hope you found it valuable. Now, if you did find it valuable and insightful, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, hit that 5-star button, and of course, please share this episode with someone you think could benefit from hearing it. If you're ready to take that next step in your own shame resilience journey, be sure to click the link in the show notes and download my free handout, 5 things shame resilient people do every day and 3 things they don't. And if you're looking for more ways to connect, you'll find links to my website and YouTube channel below, as well as a link to set up a discovery call to go over any questions you have about program offerings or your next steps in your shame resilience journey. Again, thank you for being here today. And remember, change takes time, but every step counts. So stay the course, stay hopeful, and stay committed to your well-being. We'll be back with more insightful discussions to support you on your journey. Until then, take care, and we'll catch you next time.